Oh, that's not right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of WordPress and Coffee. For some reason, my thing is a little screwed up here. I don't know what happened. Let's see if I can't fix it. Wow, that's pretty big. Crazy big. Let's do a little tweaking here. Sorry about that. Had a busy day yesterday. Redoing my computer, and I had to redo this, reset this up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's a little big, maybe. I like that. Okay, anyway, welcome to WordPress and Coffee. This is a weekday, and today's Friday. But this is a weekday. It runs Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I do a short little live stream, and basically it's over doing web development, WordPress, and so forth and so on, a little bit of everything. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with this it basically is every weekday, Monday through Friday. I'm still working on this, messing with this image here. Okay, that looks good. Oh, anyway, today what I wanted to talk about was I wanted to talk about passwords. And as a web developer, you have a lot of clients. How do you deal with your passwords? And then this is basically kind of, let's start a discussion in the comments, and let me know how you handle your passwords. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I do and my method of handling passwords for clients as well as my personal passwords. And I've come up with a way that is, it's really secure as far as the passwords go. They're really secure, and they're real complicated, so they'll be really hard to guess, but they're easy to remember at the same time. And so I've come up with, through the years, I've just used different tips, or I've come up with different tricks and things of doing this. And I'm just going to kind of go over what I've done to come up with these passwords. Anyway, let's go over to our desktop here. Make sure this works. Yep, yeah, it works. Okay, so we're at our desktop here, and I have a Word document or a document open so we can kind of see. Let me get a bigger font so we can see here. Okay, so when I'm doing a password, or this is just one idea. If you haven't, like I said, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below of good ways of doing this. But this is one idea that I've come up with. So say you have a bunch of clients and you need to know them all to be different passwords and for you to remember them easily. And this is kind of like what I do. Now you can come up with different ways. Basically, what you do is you come up with a set of rules, and you abide by these rules. And once you learn the rules, then you always abide by the rules, and you always get the password right. So, for instance, first what I do is I come up with some kind of saying, like, for instance, say you had a dog named Jake, and Jake, your dog Jake, liked to go to the park. So what you could do is you could come up with a saying, something like, take Jake to the park. Okay, so what you would do to come up with that part of your password is you would just use the first letter in each word. So you could do something like take, so it would be a T. Jake, I would do this capitalized because it's a name of your dog. So you would capitalize that one, Jake, and then two, rather than using T-O or T-O-O, are TWO. You could just say 2, use the letter 2 in place of that, the lowercase the, and then park. And since that's a place, I would probably do that capital P. So now you have your little saying, and then you might end it with an exclamation point or something, or an asterisk. Let's just do an asterisk. Okay, so you may always end it with an asterisk. Okay, so for instance, this is your this is always going to be the same in your password. And then what you do is, depending on the domain, like if you're, for instance, this is a GoDaddy account, and you want your password for your GoDaddy account. Well, you could do like the first 3 letters in the domain. You could do that. So you could do GOD. So that would be GoDaddy. You would know GOD. And then you would put in the rest of your password. Take Jake to the park. Asterisk. Or you could come up with a rule saying, okay, to make it a little more complicated, if the domain name has like more than one word in it, like GoDaddy is go and daddy, I would do capital G and then lowercase d for the second word, and that would be my password for that site. If you have a HostGator account, like just say HostGator for instance, you could do HostGator would be capital H and lowercase g, because host and gator are 2 different words put together. If it was some kind of word that didn't have 2 words in it, for instance, let's just say you were going to cycle, like bicycle, cycle.com or something like that, you could do CY, the first 2 letters. Or you could say, okay, well, if it's a just has 1 word in it, I would use the first 3 letters. So you could do CYC, and that would be your password for that account. Now, as far as you know, most all of the usernames now, not all of them, but a majority, a high majority of them, they use your email address for the username. Usually, I mean, sometimes they have a you could do a username, just a regular username, or an email address. So I don't really mess with that part of it, you know, like trying to come up with different usernames and stuff like that. I try to basically stick to the same username because that's my username. That's always going to be my username. But I do change the password and stuff. For instance, like say if we were using this right here, and with this rule right here, and we had to have our like our Facebook account login. The password for that would be capital F and then lowercase b, and that would be the password for that domain. So you can kind of basically do it for domains and stuff like that. Now for my web clients, this is somewhat kind of like what I do. It's not exactly the same, but I've come up with my own set of rules for them. But anyway, this is basically, I just want to talk a little bit about secure passwords. And secure passwords, you always want to try to use upper and lowercase. You want to put in numbers, and then you want to put in other symbols like asterisks and stuff like that. You could also do this. I mean, you could come up with anything, like Facebook. Let's just do it as 2 words, face and book. So we'll do the first one capital, the second one lowercase, and then you could do something like this. Just, you know, let's just put in an asterisk. Boom. This is not really, I mean, this is a secure password, but it's kind of short, so it may not be long enough because using this right here as your password, you know. But you could always come up with something like you could come up with something like this, and you could never guess what that means. I mean, most people wouldn't guess what that right there represents. And let me tell you real quick. This is just something I came up with the top of my head. Okay, so this first one is the domain name. So it's going to be capital. If this was for Facebook, it would be capital F and then a lower B for book. And then the DI, and then this is something that I came up with. This stands for do, D as in do, and then it, do it. And then I put a little smiley face with his tongue sticking out. That's winking and with the smiley face. I mean, we could just do a regular smiley face. Like that, or something like that. I mean, it's you just need to come up with some kind of rule and set of rules that you can understand and that makes sense to you, and something that you would never forget. And at that point, you really won't ever have to worry about that password necessarily being guessed. You know, like if they get one password, like for instance, say if you're using the same passwords on multiple domains, and one password gets hacked, like your Facebook account, your password gets hacked on that, and you use that password on multiple domains, then there's a good chance that you're going to get hacked into them other domains, because the hackers can just, all they have to do is guess. Okay, you have a Facebook account. Is there a chance that you might have a Twitter account that uses the same password? Or is there a chance that you may have a some other type of account? You know, your Snapchat. What if Snapchat got hacked into and your password is compromised there? Well, if you use the same password for Snapchat as you do Facebook, then you're a good chance of getting hacked into Facebook as well. That's just one of them things, and that's why it's really important to try to always have different passwords for every different domain. But at the same time, it's hard to remember all the passwords. Now, they have programs and stuff out there for remembering your password, and it's really secure, and you have a master password. You know, I'm sure a lot of these work fairly well and everything like that. The only thing that, like the browser saving passwords, I don't ever have my browser save the password, no matter where I go. This is just something I don't do. It's not that I don't trust it, I just don't do it. I've kind of gotten in the habit of not doing it. And what I do is, instead, what I've come up with is this method of doing and having different passwords for each domain based on the domain's name or something like that. Anyway, so just play with it, come up with your own little rules, and then you'll never forget your password ever. For instance, say I was out on vacation somewhere and I didn't have my computer, I didn't have anything, I just had my phone, and I got a call from a client, something went haywire, or they needed something changed really quick. I could get on any public computer, log in, and I would know that password. I wouldn't have to have a device that tells me, oh, I can't remember the password to that website because I don't have my computer, because it's all stored on my computer or anything like that. So this is just ideas for coming up with different ideas for creating passwords for your account. Oh, let me get it back over to my window here. There we go. Anyway, this is just a quick video today, just kind of talk about passwords and stuff like that. It's just something that came off the top of my head, and I thought about it, and I was like, hey, this might be something, to give other people ideas if you have to remember a crap load of passwords for a lot of clients or anything like that. Anyway, I believe that's all I'm going to talk about today. If you have any ideas or any other ideas or anything like that, like I said, leave a post in the comments below, and just kind of let me know the type of things that you do for your passwords. Anyway, I believe that's all for today, and we will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.